This is where the fun begins.
Hello, hello. Yes, I'm wearing glasses today. I hope they look stylish. How are you guys doing? I hope my lighting's good in here. The light changes per season, and I have two windows here. I have to change a light bulb, and I have my light in front of me, so I'll have to adjust for the seasons. And how are you guys doing today? I'm so happy to be with you guys. Coffee chat. And as I asked inside the chat before we started, what are you enjoying? What's in your mug, or what's your beverage of choice as we sit here and have fun this morning and chat about Star Wars. Well, particularly about Leia Organa Solo and the actress Carrie Fisher. I have a special article I wanted to just touch and review on, and then Tycho Celchu and Alderaan and how they all fit together in discovering how their home planet was destroyed. So I'm excited about that. Let's see who's all in the chat. I know Teresa and Lady Toriel was chilling in the chat a little bit before we started. And again, thank you so much for your continued support and modding as well. Good morning to you. And good morning to Lady Toriel, channel members and mod. And let's see here, we have Zagara 315. Good morning, Alora, and good morning to you as well. Orange Hat Review, thank you for coming in. Good morning and afternoon, everyone, and good morning to OG Star Wars. Yes, I am on the West Coast, so I am still in the morning, and a lot of you guys who live closer to the East Coast are going into the afternoon or noontime. So top of the noon to those who are, it's at the noontime for you guys. And let's see here. And who else we have? We have Keely Chow. Good morning to you. Hey, everybody. Good morning. And let's see who else is dropping in. Yes. And then we have Chaos Man. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? I'm doing well this morning. Woke up, did the morning chores and whatever I needed to do, and then got myself ready, got my coffee ready, went over some things that I needed to do, like prepping for the coffee chat. That's always another reoccurrence. I wish I could do like a behind the scenes type preparing for live streams type video, so you guys know what like myself and maybe other content creators get or do to make this show happen for you guys. And maybe one day I'll do that. Maybe I'll have someone follow me around and record as I prep and stuff. And so you guys can kind of see what goes into this. It's kind of, well, to me, it's exciting. I'm always curious. Okay, so what do they do? What, like when there's a planned stream that has topics you're going to talk about other than like articles and stuff, what do they do to prepare? And so I think that's very interesting. That's me. I'm just very curious like that. And then Pops, hey, what's up, Pops? A happy topic. Yes, it is a happy topic. Well, kind of. Once we get to Alderaan, that's not very happy. Let's see here. And then Jace, our Jace Fox. Oh, hello. Hi. And then I got it right this time. Hello, darling. How are you? And she and Lorena have some good reviews together on Lorena's channel, and I think maybe even yours. So please go subscribe to. Now I did it wrong. And check out her channel as well as Lorena's. And let's see here. Good to see you, OG Stars. Yes, it's good to see you too as well. So there's a poll. As I'm liking this as something that we're going to do every coffee chat, and it's going to be random poll questions pertaining to Star Wars and characters, species, what have you, that you like or whatever. And it's you only can share for the poll. So this one, so go vote. It's at the top of the chat there. Go vote. Who is your favorite character from the Jedi Academy? Basically the trilogy era. So this is the first generation. I used not so popular characters. I could have put Kip Duran on there. I could have put Corn Horn, who was, So, we know that if you guys read I Jedi and stuff like that, you know that he was kind of shoehorned in there to be there, even though he wasn't written in the Jedi trilogy. Some people do have concerns or just didn't like that. So I didn't put him or any popular, very popular Jedi. So go check it out. If you've read the trilogy, you know who I'm talking about. If you want to go search the names, go search the names. However, be honest with yourself on that. If you don't know who they are, then don't vote. If you have an inkling, then maybe vote for the one you know the best. So that would be the best one. And then Alex, how are you doing? Howdy. And let's see here. So we have people coming in. And so another question for you guys. What is your favorite moment when it comes to Leia Organa Solo? I would say movies, because a lot of people know movies more than her arc in the EU. However, if you know her arc in the EU, please share what is your favorite moment in the EU? If you're more privy to her in the movies and haven't really got in depth with the EU and still is exploring that, then share your favorite movie arc when it comes to Leia Organa Solo. I would like to hear that. And for me, there's many, but one of my most favorite arcs of hers is in the Darkness trilogy, and it's the last one, the third book, and she's fighting Alima Rar, and then after she's done and she defeats her and stuff, well, she kind of defeats her. If you know the story, then you'll know that she was this spider monkey, whatever, basically nearly consumed Alima Rar. But that's when she passed basically her trials, and she became a Jedi Knight. And her conversation between her and her master Saba 17 was epic. So not many, there's a mixed review on Jedi Nest, Darkness trilogy. But I like it because there's the lore attached to it. The Skywalkers get to learn who their mother is. We get to learn and see how Jason's mind got warped and twisted from his torture from the Vong, and noticing that he's going more dark now. And so you get all these nuances that help you go from New Jedi Order into Legacy of the Force. So there's all those little nuances in there. And the discovery of Luke, discovery that Luke had made with R2 revealing, their mom Padme, and the circumstances and stuff is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and how he handled it, and how he's like, and I gave Anakin my forgiveness. I gave my father my forgiveness. So there you go. So I thought that was it's like, some people just don't like it because of killing bugs and stuff. And you're just like Han Solo in the book. I don't like the bugs. I just want to squish them. But I get that, some people might be turned off to that a little. It's the whole trilogy is from Troy Denning. And I rather liked it. I thought it was good. It's not the best. It's not my top favorite trilogy whatsoever, but I like it for what it gave and what it provided. So let's see here. Anybody else come in here? Let me see here. So again, what is your favorite moment of Leia Organa Solo, whether in the movies, if you're more privy to her arc in the movies than the EU, or in the EU, if you read the EU and you read a lot about Leia in the EU, share with me. So Chaos Man says, so far from me, Leia meeting Anakin's ghost and truce at Bakura. Oh yeah, that was good. That was interesting. Very much interesting. And the book that complements that to help her come to terms with her Skywalker heritage is Tatooine Ghost. And then Orange Hat Review says, her convincing the Nogri that she was not to be underestimated, slicing up a stairway with her saber using the Force. Yep. Yeah, that was pretty cool too. So let's see here. Anybody else want to answer before we move on? And again, like I said today, I think we're going to go over the article or about the little bit about Carrie Fisher first. And then we'll get into the characters of Tycho Celchu and Leia Organa Solo or Alderaan. And so a second question, I got one more question for you guys, because I love chatting with you guys about this. I think it's absolutely, fun to go over the lore and chat and see your guys' opinion and stuff. For Psycho Celchu, and there's a variance on saying the last name, so if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. What is your favorite moment with him? Now, this is strictly an EU one. Yes, he was confirmed to, have, fought in both the Death Star battles or, whatever, the destruction or whatever, and that he helped with the destruction of the second Death Star. However, he is mostly an EU character. That's where his legacy lies. Wedge is mostly panned out or, fleshed out, I guess you could say, in the EU as well. But Tycho Celchu is, EU, mostly an EU character. And so my question is, what is your favorite moment with or about regarding Tycho Celchu? Comics, what have you. So let me know. If you've read his character arc and if you read the stories that have him in it, let me know. And let's see here. And those coming in, please vote. Who's your favorite character from the Jedi Academy? And this is a trilogy. Like, this is the first generation of Jedi that Luke trained. So vote for that. And then please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. And please share that I'm live on social media. Facebook, I forget to do Facebook all the damn time. Twitter. And then, oh yeah, one more thing. I have a Twitter community. This thing is like big. This is big. And I'll read you in a few minutes or after I'm done here. I have a community, Twitter community. It's something brand new. I thought it'd be a compliment to my channel here. It's for everyone, but that follows me on Twitter and is a part of the channel, subscribers, members, or whatever. However, if you're going to be a part of the community, I highly recommend that you subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a member too, that's cool. Yeah, so please check it out. I don't know how it's going to pan out. This is the first time I've ever done something like this, and this is the first time Twitter has had something like this. And so it's all going to pertain to the channel. We are going to, sharing pre-Disney Star Wars lore, compare and contrast. I don't mind you guys going in and saying, hey, this character, like I'll use Thrawn. He's the most one that we can compare about and talk about easily is Thrawn in Disney and Thrawn in the original lore, the true canon. I don't mind the compare and contrast that you guys can throw out there on there and discuss and all that. And so that's what I recommend is, sharing pre-Disney lore, compare and contrast, all of that. So Alex, Leia for Fave mom, stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder. Her still going at it despite being pregnant, an heir to the Empire. Only watched Darth Angelus's animation. What she's done so far. Awesome. Yes, I love what he's doing with that animation. So let's see here. Good. And then Orange Hat, I believe she was pregnant while doing so as well. Let's see here. And then Psycho. Yeah, I know. I was like, whoops, it's Tycho. I know I corrected myself. Tycho Celchu. Please hit the like button. Yes. I got to read the books again. I haven't read many of them in years. Yeah, it's always good to review. And on that, it's going to complement the community's page here on YouTube. My Twitter community. It's going to complement that. So there'll be some posts that are identical there as on Twitter, just to keep you guys informed and stuff. Yeah. So, and I'm also going to recommend, so the book of the month, and eventually I'll start literature review again. And, but I'll say, okay, this book is book of the month or whatever. Let's take a look at this book and talk about it here. Just to keep some discussion going. Let's see here. Heir to the Empire, laugh out loud. Yeah. Let's see here. And yo, what's up? How are you doing? And hey, Cam got aced. I have to take a look at it. Let me take a look at the standings before we get into that article here. So Gantoris got 30% of the votes. Streen 10. Kirana T 30%. Oh, so and then we have even Sam Salusar 30. I was gonna do Tion, his wife, or Tyone, but she's rather popular because she I think she's more popular than her husband when it comes to the lore. So I didn't use her as well. And I didn't use Kip because he's very popular too, because most of it is about him. What, like, not most of it, like, you know what I mean? We get to see him coming in, being recruited out of Kessel by Han, and seeking revenge and going to the dark side, all of that. Chaos Man, I think it would have been cool if Carrie's daughter played Jaina. It would have given their mother and daughter relationship an emotional meaning and a true passing of the torch. Well, yeah, maybe. Let's see here. And then thank you again, Lady T, Lady Toriel. And then let's see here. Twitter, OG Starwars. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, so, like, I'm going to wait just another maybe half a minute before I get that article up. Let me just bring it up anyways. Let's see here. So here it is. So this is from Insider 23, and this is published in 1994. So this is a relic right here. We have, I do have some old Insiders that I like to pull from and stuff. I don't have the whole collection and stuff, but I do have some of them saved. And so I was looking through this, and I thought this was a very interesting article. And before I got into my accident and everything had to pause for me, this is one thing I wanted to do, was have this streamed coffee chat that talks about Carrie, this article here. I thought it was very interesting. And Leia, and then I threw in Tycho in there. So let's see here. And we have, don't forget to share out the stream. Yes, and thank you so much. And thank you again, Miss Martin Muses, for the 99 cent Rose here. Thank you so much again for continuing to support the channel. Much love to you. And let's see here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn off my camera because I don't like having my face showing while I read. That's just me. So, but I have my glasses, so I could hopefully read as better as I do sometimes when we review these comics here. So this is, like I said, it is, and where's my cursor? I have to change the cursor color because it sucks. Whoops, damn you. Let's go ahead and I'm going to zoom in and scroll as I read here. So we're going to just see portions of the article here. So basically, this is Leia, Life After Leia. Carrie Fisher now wages battles with pin instead of the lightsaber. And this is by Pamela E. Roller. And I like this image of her. Of course, we know when this was. If you recognize the coloring and the background, this is Empire Strikes Back. If my mother is the girl next door, I'm the one down the block and over in Stalag 17. There's something decidedly odd about me. I'm bossy and I'm a little weird, and I use language strangely. So that's her impression about herself, comparing to her mom. And so let me know what you guys think about that, because we know Carrie Fisher is uniquely different, and I say that in every respectful aspects, are, in a respectful way. Let's see here. 94. I don't want to say how old I was then. Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, we don't have to share age if you don't want to, but this is 1994. Let me get back to the article here. So I was thinking about browsing through this, but then when I was rereading it last night to see if I wanted to do that, there's a lot of fun stuff in here, and how her relationship was with George as well. So I was like, wow, I don't know. We'll see. I'll play this out as we go along. So to say that Carrie's life has been eventful since she portrayed Princess Leia in the Star Wars trilogy definitely would be an understatement. It's been years. So my voice is going to go crappy, because that's what happens when I read for a long time. And I just barely began to read. So there you go. It's been years since she matched wits with Darth Vader's dark side, fell in love with Han Solo, helped save civilization from destruction since Return of the Jedi. It's been challenging enough for her to manage the highs and lows of being Carrie Fisher. So there we go. So this is after all three of the movies are done, and she now is settling in, back to, I guess you could call, normal life for her. She certainly hasn't become one of those whatever happened to actors who shine only for a moment. Oh, wow. Okay. So if you would have used actors right now in this type of climate world we're in today, with how the culture's changing to, you know, women having equal rights. If you would have used actors, that would have been no. You have to use actress. I'm just pointing that out. I don't care if it's actor or actress. It's just it just tells her profession. Fisher's personality and talent burned from too brightly for that ever to happen. With the same spirit and determination she brought to George Lucas's intergalactic heroine, Fisher has become Hollywood's hippest commentator and expert self-explorer. This quick-witted dynamo has spent the last decade taming her personal demons, trying to make sense of her very public private life. I like how they say that, public private life, and that goes into like everything, like for example, the recent event, Will and Jada and Chris, right? Their lives are very private but public life, so everybody knows what's going on because of the profession they're in. And so I'll just say that without going into any other dynamics of that, while at the same time successfully expanding the boundaries of her career with her rapid fire repertoire, repertoire. I was gonna say repertoire. She parlayed her traits and trials and tribulations, a battle with drug addiction, and a highly publicized marriage breakup with singer Paul Simon into two best-selling novels. So there you go. So Postcards from the Edge was one, and Surrender the Pink is the other. Each tome is graphic Roman-ish cloth. I don't know. I did not say that eloquently, so sorry about that. Detailing the bizarre but always entertaining life of a young woman who bears a striking resemblance to Miss Fisher, overcoming her obsession on her quest for self-discovery in Surrender the Pink. Fisher describes her protagonist, Dina Kaufman. Here is the personality. It is a pack of wild dogs on a leash, dragging her around. Dogs rabid of conversation. It is an 11-year-old old loose in a toy store, pulling his father through the fun-packed aisles, searching for treasure. Her voice is a brass band parading through her throat. She was dropped into the center of her personality decades ago and has been trying to crawl to the edge of it ever since. Either there is no edge or it's all edge. She's dreaming that she is herself and can't wake up, can't come to the surface, world within without end, word without end. It's aerobic to be her. So there you go. So she kind of describes that's her character in that book that she's writing, but then she puts herself into it as well. In the passage, she may as well be describing what it's like to be Carrie Fisher. So that's what she wrote, and she's been very honest about herself in these books and stuff. So let's see what you guys have to say. Pop says, the paparazzi have destroyed Carrie. If it was like today, we used to have a sadness and forgiveness for those struggles with addiction, divorce. Yeah, now celebrities are exploited for clicks and views. Yeah, they are. It used to be don't judge. I mean, we're all gonna have some say in it, like, damn, and they really went that, and you're always gonna have an opinion. There's always gonna be that, but then also I think people are forgetting about compassion nowadays, and I think I blame it on cancel culture. I truly do. I blame it on cancel culture. So this is what I've read right here. And those popping in, please go vote on the poll. Let's see here. It's 9:23 my time. So I will end the poll at 9:45, I believe, or maybe after. So that's what I just read here. We all know her struggle with drugs and stuff. That's something that is not new. So let me go back to the article. And I'm going to go ahead and skip to the second page here. I think this one just talks about how she's, been writing and all that. And so she's gone to the pin to write. Let's see. I'm going to just go ahead and read this part before we go to the next page. In the years since the Star Wars phenomenon captivated audiences, Fisher has deftly channeled her powerful, eccentric personality and lightning quick mental dexterity onto the screen and into the blank page, or onto the blank page, to leave her unique mark to the the entertainment industry. So basically, she appeared in Blue Brothers, Hannah and Her Sisters, When Harry Met Sally, or she has contributed to, as well as Under the Rainbow, Soap Dish, and It's My Life. And she's also been asked by George to help with writing the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. And so that's been gaining, at the time, popularity as well. And she's also helped correct and the script of Sister Act and Hook. So she's helped contribute with that. So she'd help correct and write scripts for some of those stuff as well. So I thought that was very interesting. Let's see here. Okay, so I'll leave this like here. And so we have, Leia here, these recognizable scenes here as well. Let me take a sip. All right. So currently she is working on the screenplay for Surrender the Pink. So again, this is in 1994. So Surrender the Pink. She also in the midst of perhaps the most formidable challenge of her life, raising her 1-year-old daughter, Billy. At the age of 36, Carrie, and again, this is in 1994, this is when this was published, Carrie Fisher has become a long way in both her career and her personal life, but Star Wars fans can still say we know her win with her fiery portrayal of the cinema's most famous interstellar princess. Fisher helped make Star Wars the cultural icon it remains today. For Star Wars fans, she always will be Princess Leia. And again, so I did ask that question. You guys can still answer, especially those coming in. What is your favorite moment of Leia? It could, like if you're only privy to the movies, more the movies than the EU, share that. If you know the EU, her arc in the EU, you can share some of that as well. Admired by audience all over the world for her strength, intelligence, and the screen kind of went dark here on my end. Damn you. Let's see here. That's my charge. It's saying charge your computer. There you go. All right. Her strength, intelligence, and independence. In retrospect, Fisher was perfect for the role. Who better to bring to life a quick-thinking, sharp-tongued, tenacious Spitfire like Leia? Both Princess Leia and Carrie Fisher are determined fighters who stand triumphantly at the end of a battle, whether it's a cinematic conflict or real life. So we're comparing, the author or the writer is comparing her with her character as well. And it was her indomitable personality that originally brought her to the attention of George Lucas. And this is the part I really love here. So this is why I wanted to share this as well. He said he'd hire all of us because we had a larger than life personalities. And he was right, says Fisher. Bringing together three show business rookies, Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill, and letting them meld their own personalities with those of the characters in the pages of the script was a master stroke by Lucas. At the time, however, Fisher thought Lucas casting was unusual. So this is where she kind of gets into where she talks about the casting and what she thought about the script during the time, how she how she, how she thought about when she was reading them and all of this. So it's very, very interesting here. And also her relationship with George. Bringing together the three show. Okay, I reread that one here. Masterful Luke by stroke. Okay, there we go. At the time, however, Fisher thought Lucas's casting was unusual. I think mine was the strangest. Harrison was the rogue. Mark was the ingenue and the wise old man. Oh, I didn't really see that, like the wise old man for Mark. But then maybe as we get towards closer to Return of the Jedi, maybe that's where we see him grow in his wisdom. So maybe that's what she means. We would always talk about that being sort of Jungian, and I was not a damsel in distress. I was a distressing damsel. Being chosen for the role was a surprise to 19-year-old Fisher. Her only other movie experience had been a small role in Shampoo, so her acting ability had yet to be tested. Fisher still remembered her audition with Lucas. So this is where it gets fun. I went in and did an interview. He was interviewing with Brian De Palma. Because Lucas doesn't like to talk, Brian conducted the interview. So that's funny because Lucas is a very, like, when you see him on camera, when you see him in photos, he's like not attached. He's like, he doesn't even look like, his personality and stuff doesn't even look like he wants to be there. And I think that's always been his demeanor. He's always been like inverted, like an introvert. When I met George, I think he had said hello. Then Brian talked and I talked and then I went away. So basically Brian did the interview while George sat there and just watched. I got a call back. I had felt I made very little impression on or around him. I think she means George. Nevertheless, Lucas was impressed enough to give her the part, and her acting career was launched. Still, Fisher experienced some self-doubt even after she knew her role was hers. Her self-doubt manifested itself in her own outlandish brand of deprecating humor, she says. They started trying on those awful hairstyles, and I was so scared that they'd made a mistake because the script described how pretty. Oh my God, this is where it's kind of sad, and I think you guys might disagree with her on her own take about her own looks. How pretty the princess was. I am many things, but this is not what I felt myself to be. The last line in the script was that the princess is way down the hall. So she's just describing the award ceremony here, way down the hall. And that's what I'm guessing. Maybe she's describing, I don't know. I'm guessing it's Return of the Jedi. I'm not sure. She is strangely beautiful. I crossed off the LY and beautiful. So she just left straight, or staggeringly, not strangely. She is staggeringly beautiful. I crossed up the LY and the beautiful. So she just put stagger, and felt this new wording more approached what I would bring to the character. Okay. And then during the film, so she was very hard on her looks. She was very hard on how she felt. She didn't see herself beautiful like how she was scripted as well. Let's see here. It's really strange though. Imagine if you were having a midday nap on Alderaan when the destruction came. You'd never wake up from that. Me, look at Luke, then look at the rest of Hamill's role. Looks back at the lines, put some of ourselves into the role. And then let's see, I saw the audition and she was so believable. It was nuts. The other auditions seemed off. Yeah, I remember seeing some of them too. I should have went and found the links to those and pulled those up with this. I didn't think about that, but thank you for the reminder, Org Chat. Hey, I'm here. I'm hearing that Jake Kenobi series is delayed. Yeah, it's delayed a couple of days, I guess. And then they're going to have 2 episodes coming out at once. So that's what I've seen this morning. All right. So let's go back to the article here. So what do you guys think so far about what she thinks about herself? She's like, they said the princess is beautiful. I kind of disagree about that, but you guys, I know she has been one of the reasons a lot of the young boys at the time watched Star Wars. So let's go back to the article. Let's see here. Wrong button. There we go. Let's see here. And during the film, Fisher was intimidated at times, but now she looks back with satisfaction. She says, I was the only girl in this short of adolescent boys fantasy. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Wow. Okay. So she's all together. So she's the only girl in this sort of adolescent boys fantasy. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. There you go. So I guess she didn't mind being looked at, I guess. I don't know, because she thought it was fun. What wasn't fun was some of the events in her life following the Star Wars trilogy. If Princess Leia had a few bad hair days, Carrie Fisher battled through more than a few bad life days in the last decade. At some point, drugs became an escape for her. And so this goes into her drug addiction and how her going into writing her novels, her biographies, her stories, basically helped saved her in a sense. So she picked up the pin to help her overcome addiction. And so this is what this all says here. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. And we all know what happened with her. We all know her troubles and what had happened. So she says, this is what she says in the in Postcard from the Edge. And I guess that was a bestseller at the time when it came out. I was into pain reduction and mind expansion, but what I've ended up with is pain expansion and mind reduction. Very interesting. That is a good way to look at it. When people go into addictions, they and whether addictions, whether for fun or then it turns into full-blown addictions, sometimes it begins with pain, and then you're like, oh well, this will expand the mind. Okay, cool. I want to do that kind of deal. And when then, like she says, it turns out to be pain and then a mind reduction. So I like that. I like what she recognized. I like what she shared here. So that's in a nutshell of what happens with addiction and stuff, and that's a very good explanation from her. An overdose landed her in the hospital, and she was given a first-class ticket to drug rehabilitation. Not even Hollywood could have scripted a better turning point for a character's life. After seeing an interview with Fisher in Esquire, which contained her peculiar take on life in Hollywood, an editor approached her about writing a book of nonfiction article. Out of the initial suggestions came Postcards of the Edge. Published in 1987, this biting and jagged novel explored an addiction struggle with drugs in Hollywood. It became a New York Times bestseller. So there you go. So, so this kind of tells about her, her story, her, her novels and stuff, and how that helped her overcome somewhat of her addictions and stuff. And, it's sad, but it's like, that's very polarizing too at the same time. Let's see here. And I hope Billy Lord Fisher's doing well. I hope so too. And then, hello, Kathy Skywalker and Dharma McQuaid. And what are you guys enjoying? Everybody coming in, please hit that like button. Let me know what you're enjoying beverage-wise. What's in your mug. I am having my standard coffee here. And also give me, let me know what's your favorite scene when it comes to Leia, rather in the movies, if you're more privy to the movies, or in the EU, if you know her story in the EU. Please share and vote. I'm keeping my every coffee chat. I'm going to have a poll up. This poll, the topic is to vote on is, who is your favorite character in the Jedi Academy? And this is the first generation of Jedi that you probably read about in the Jedi Academy trilogy. So Kathy Starwick says Billy Lord was in the Sukkos, by the way. Yeah, we know. Let's see here. And who is the best pilot, Han or Luke? No force powers. Oh, okay. Let's see here. I would have to say Han. Honestly, I would. That's my take on that. Yep. Chat, if you guys want to answer this one from Fatal J, and thank you so much for dropping in, Fatal J. Thank you for the continued support and love. And I definitely have to go rewatch Dark Council from last night. If you guys weren't there last night, please go check out the latest. And I think it's on Drunk 3PO's Basement channel, I think it's called. So go check it out. Yes, please hit the like button, share the stream out. And then Kathy says she's been in American Horror Story. And then Darman, regardless of Mark Hamill's insane views, he must have been broken when Carrie passed away, as so must have been Harrison. I can only imagine, the relationship and the friendship they created filming these under George Lucas. First, it's probably devastating, and I can only imagine, losing someone, they almost like family, I guess you can say. And then Kathy says, I'm having almond milk. Awesome. And let's see here, Zagharat. What's up, Fatal J? So everybody's saying hello. So let's go ahead and get past this article here. I think we're going on the last page here of the story here, which goes into her relationship with George Lucas. So I'm going to skip about what she writes about her characters in her books. Let's see here. And I'm going to find out where to pick up when she talks about George Lucas. All right. She may not have realized that in time, but even on the set of Star Wars, her life, her literal mind was at work. She still recalls the difficulties she and other cast members had with the dialogue George Lucas had written. In particular, she thought Princess Leia's dialogue was stilted. Some of my lines cost us take after take after take. You'll never get the bucket off of bolts past the blockade. I have placed information vital to the survival of the rebellion into the memory systems of this R2 unit. Fisher adds, stilted is a kindness. We used to go to him and say, you can type this, you cannot say it. But he made up let me see, I got to scroll up now. Language. Stilted was actually what he was looking for. Wow. So she was bold and said, hey, George, you can type this out, but we can't say this. But she also recognized that this is pertaining to a galaxy and world building, and all this stuff that, they're not familiar to. So R2 droid and all of this language here pertains to what's in the universe, but not in our real life. So I get what she was saying as well. Fisher had her own ideas of how Princess Leia should speak, but Leia refused to let her, but Lucas refused to let her do it her way. He had a very particular idea of what this person was going to be. And I was going to try to read it ironic, which never worked. Because I felt I was inherently impossibly ironic, but he wouldn't let me do that. He wanted me to be proud and frightening, so that's what I did. Yeah. So that's interesting how, she's like, hey, George, we need, what do you want from us? Kind of deal. I can just imagine her because she's always been brash. She's always been like, to the point. That's how we've seen Carrie Fisher. Always been to the point, non-filter. And I think I was discussing on Twitter maybe like a couple of weeks ago that someone said that they would want, and I forgot who it was. Oh, damn. I don't remember who it was. I'm sorry. But they said they would rather, they're like, who would you like to narrate your life? And so this person in the conversation said, I would like Carrie Fisher too, because she's honest, she's brash, and he's just going on and stuff. And I was like, wow, that I never thought about that, but you are right. And she is. So differences of opinion on dialogue aside, Fisher realized Star Wars, the Star Wars story was a winner and that George was in the process of creating something special. She says, I thought it was a brilliant, brilliant script. And so she changes her mind here. And I wanted to have lunch with all the characters that I was reading. During the production, Fisher had to endure the difficult tasks of acting in scene without special effects, which were added later. Fisher says that she had to use her imagination, and it was difficult at times. You're very emotionally watching your planet blow up. And it's actually a guy standing in front of a cardboard box with a circle on it. Being thrown around in the body of an alien was just the camera moving, and you're just acting. Oh, cool. So this is, I love how she's describing this. Like they had to pretend because at the time, we didn't have as much CGI and all that, and there's a lot of stop motion and stuff, and well, there was CGI and stuff, but you were acting out, and that scene wasn't in front of you. But later, when you've seen it on TV, like we do, or not TV, on the film, you actually see. So that's pretty good. So imagine her responding to a cardboard box with a circle, which is Alderaan, being blown up. So having to imagine the destruction of your home planet, and and seeing it in your mind's eye as you're acting it out. So that's pretty cool. Let me see here. So as for my favorite movie Leia moment, it was when Luke left in Return of the Jedi and Han comes out asking what was going on. She played it so well. You believe the pain and anguish in her face. Let's see here. And let me scroll up here. I don't make sure I don't want to miss anybody. To answer Fatal J. Okay, so Han Solo is the best pilot. He did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, right? So answer Fatal J. Honestly, it can't be answered. We never were given a time where Luke didn't use the Force while piloting in the movies or EU. But I think that Han would be better. That's just my thing. Let's see here. Need more people like Carrie in Hollywood. I agree. I definitely agree. She was one of a kind. And Mr. Dystopian, hey, how are you doing? What's in your mug? Let me know which beverage you're enjoying as we are in here for coffee chat. And please share your favorite moment of Leia Organa Solo, rather the movie EU, or both. So please share. And Meryl Streep is incredibly dodgy and shady, but I like her daughter, Louisa Jacobson. Okay, that's fair. That is fair enough. So what do you guys think about her, Leia's description about her her relationship so far with George, and reading the scripts and all of that so far? So let me know here, because I thought that was very interesting, because they're reading a make-believe story, really, of a fantasy that's in George's mind, that's coming to fruition, which we all know turned out to be a hit, because that's why my channel's here, is because Star Wars became so popular and was so well received, right? So let me know what you guys think about that. I thought it was interesting, because when you compare and contrast, and I'll go there, when you compare and contrast what she said about the OT, and we know that George particularly didn't write all the scripts and stuff for the OT, for the OT or the original trilogy, whereas he did for the PT. So let me know what you guys think about that. Of course, he approves everything, so he does make changes. He's like, I want it written this way and that way, kind of deal. He has overall say. He's very controlling. He wants it how he wants it, right? We already know that. So let me know what you guys think about what she said here versus like what people have said about the PT and the script writing there. So, and I know that's a little bit controversy, but let's just be honest, okay? She was the lead role in the new HBO show, Gilded Age. Thank you for sharing that. And let's see here. Soul Assassin says, didn't Carrie date George for a time? You know what? I don't recall. Can anybody recall that? Don't know. Dun, dun, dun. The more you know. So if anybody can confirm that, I'm not going to search it right now on the browser right now. I'm just going to go back to the article, because I want to get to talking about the characters and stuff. So, and let's go ahead and check the poll real quick so I can close that. All right. So let's see here. So far, Gantoris, 25%, Streen, 12%, Kirana T, sorry, 31, and Sam Solusar, 31. So we have a tie between the two. I will give you guys a couple more minutes here. So it's 9:52, a couple more minutes. Let's see if we can break the tie with them. If not, then we're going to have a tie. No pressure here because I'm not going to tell you who you like. You only know who you like when it comes to these characters. I can't speak for you. So a couple more minutes here. That's 9:55, so 3 more minutes, and then I'll close the poll. So if you guys are coming in to the stream, please vote on the poll. Favorite Jedi Academy characters. This is the first generation of Jedi that Luke trained, and you can read about them in the Jedi Academy trilogy. I did not share Kip Duran or Corran Horn or any of, and like Tion Celusar, because those are the very popular ones. I wanted to share characters that were pivotal still to the story, or at least known from the story, and go from there, so vote for your favorite. And we have a couple more minutes to go, and then I'm going to officially close it down. Let's see here. And let's see what's going on in this chat here. Lucas was married to Marcia in the 70s and 80s, right? But I don't remember when they got a divorce, but I know that they were married for a short time. Not for a short time, but you know what I mean. Chaos Man 17. I like to mention that during her time in the Imperial Senate, Leia was close friends to, yes, Pooja Naburi, who was senator of Naboo. Yes, the two didn't know they were cousins until after Darkness. I know that's crazy. That's the turning point for her when she realized, oh my God, that's my cousin. Just imagine, and I have a similar story, really. So I was raised by my grandmother, and my due to my parents being abusive and doing drugs and what have you. And I'm not trying to get pity from anyone. That's just what happened. And so I have 3 sisters. Me and my brother share the same parents. She took my brother when she fled. And then she also had 3 other kids. And so the third oldest, I am the oldest. So it's me, my brother, and then 3 other sisters. So the third sister, the third in the siblings, was born in Colorado, and that's where I was born at. And so my cousins who live in Colorado went to school with my sister, and they were friends with her, and they were saying, you look just like our cousin Alora, and so, but they were close with her and all this other stuff. And then finally, when I discovered that I had a sister that lived in where I was born at, what was crazy is that's the same person that my cousin said, you look just like my cousin Alora. We are sisters. So that was like a very crazy thing, to finding out that, my own cousins was going to school and very close friends, like best friends kind of deal, like best friends family with my sister without even knowing that she was my sister. That's freaking crazy. So I can kind of relate right there, working alongside, or at least, working alongside someone and then realizing that you're relatives and stuff. It's crazy how that shit happens when you have when you're born into a lifestyle that has you, in those kind of circumstances. Crazy crap. Now he's married to some younger woman. Let's see here. And he has children. He has grandchildren too as well. Who was with him in the I kind of lost control over Star Wars video. That's his wife. I forget her name. I don't know her name. But the first 6 were very much mine. Yep. I remember that. Sister. So you have a sister. Yes, I do. I have 3 younger sisters. I am the oldest. My mistake. Carrie and Lucas were good friends and shared a kiss for Hook. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, really? I can't see that. I don't know why I can't see that. She's too controlling for him, I think. And that's just my opinion. Pooja was one of the little girls, Padme's niece, right? And you see them in Padme's funeral when they're at the end of Revenge of the Sith. All right, so let's go to the article and then let's move on here. So again, this is very, I thought this was very interesting, and I thought I'd share this with you. So Fisher had also had endured George Lucas's meticulous attention to detail. George was directing me like I was a puppet. He was saying, I want you to say this, but could you? Literally wanting my head to turn. It was unbelievable. He had gotten so used to working with the animated Yoda, whatever. I screamed at him about that. He thought it was hilarious. So just imagine that. So that's her relationship with him, and how, and him wanting what he wants with the actors and how he wants them to portray the characters, what have you. And so that explains a lot when it gets into the PT and, how, we've seen Anakin and Padme and stuff like that, and how he commended them for being the way that he wanted them to be portrayed. And on myself, with Hayden Christensen portraying Anakin, I didn't mind it whatsoever. I think he did it fairly well because Anakin had to look like he was, this brooding teenager coming into a young adult, very conflicted, being manipulated, kind of mature, thinking, big ego on top of that. So I thought he portrayed him fairly well. There are certain points with Natalie, with Padme, I think she could have done a little bit better, but that's what George wanted. And this proves it. George, he was like, I want you to portray these characters like this and this and this. And Fisher's work was, Lucas did not end with Return of the Jedi. He called on her to assist him in writing the script for the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles episodes, in which young Indy loses his virginity to Mata Hari. It was quite a challenge for both of them. He asked me to do an episode, and that was really, really annoying, but it was very, very funny, screaming at each other, arguing big time about love scenes. We couldn't disagree more in any world about love scenes. I mean, hours of it, hours of, why wouldn't you say that? I talk like that, he said to me. I don't believe it. And so she's describing, they're going back and forth, like, I talk this way. And she's like, I don't believe you. Why are you writing it this way? It's just imagine being that close with George like that and being able to argue with him about scripts and how to portray a character and what have you. So they let him get away with it because he's Lucas. And who eventually won this ongoing dialogue battle? He won. He let me win in the draft. When he went off and shot it, he changed it. I went crazy, she adds. I didn't want the shimmering arm, hair in the moonlight stuff. You look so lovely. You are the magical rose of my... It's in. So she's like, I didn't want all of that. I told him no, and he put it in there. So she wasn't a yes person for him. She was like, George, come on now, we could do better. Despite their battle over dialogue for the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, might George Lucas consider Fisher a screenwriter or script doctor at the very least, as he forges ahead with his plans for a new Star Wars trilogy? So that's like a question, kind of rhetorical question. And would Fisher agree to be involved, pen rather than lightsaber in hand? Well, we all know, we're like, this was 1994. Fisher notes, but it is fact and fiction. He made me sign a napkin saying I would help punch it up. Or maybe it was to do the script. I can't remember, but I want to. George, I want to, okay? Carrie Fisher probably would admit there's peculiar symmetry to the idea of her being involved in the new trilogy, coming full circle from Star Wars Leia to Star Wars literature. So there you go. So this is the article here. So what do you guys think about her relationship with George Lucas? I thought that was very interesting, very dynamic and funny as well. She wasn't a yes person. So there you go. And then let's see here. That was meant to read with James Earl Jones voice. I'm sorry, I can't do James Earl Jones voice. And Carrie had a small, intimate relationship with George Lucas. They were the couple of the bridge that floated in the hook. The scene where Tinkerbell is guiding Peter to the Jolly Roger. Any link to that clip on YouTube? Clip on you. Which one? Oh, for their interview, like their her. Which clip? I'm sorry, I lost you on that one. Is no one going to bring up that the Grand Inquisitor looks nothing like the pawn? Oh no, it's been covered. And what is funny is that Open Airlock Policy, Tim, he made a short that's just basically music and just comparing like between the two images of the pawn in Revenge of the Sith, and then from Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Inquisitor. That's going to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So I would go check that out. That's kind of funny. It's kind of amusing. But yeah, it's been talked about countless time. It has triggered many people on Twitter, and to the point where they're saying we're not trying to make them look like the characters, the cartoon characters. No, you missed the point, people. They're supposed to look like what George created them to look like in the movie. So if you're going to do an actual live film on that species, I think that maybe you should make them look like how they look like in the movie Revenge of the Sith, right? Only common sense. It's still the same company, but under a different owner now. So you do have, the means to recreate them how they're supposed to look. I think this is lazy. I'm not going to say, oh, well, the production costs and blah, blah, blah. No. You should be able to have that all of that should still be there. All the costuming, everything should be there from the movies and stuff, right? I mean, you guys did purchase the company, so how hard is that? So there's my rant on that. So there we go. Let's see here. And looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy fell asleep. Let's see here. Fell to the dark side. Let's see here. And I can't put the link here. Okay. Yeah. Let's see, I think, and cosplayers do a better job than multi-billion-dollar company. That's what it's coming to these days. And these multi-million-dollar companies, they have their makeup artists, costume artists in there and stuff. Just do it. It's so ridiculous. Like even the what do you call it? Even the CGI image of Luke from the beginning, they had someone that they deep faked it better than they did in the beginning. And that's pretty sad. That is really, really sad. Let's see here. Open Airlock Policy. There you go. So there's that Grand Inquisitor video. If you guys want to check it out in a little bit. So there you go. I reckon it's catching steam. It's like up to 100K, which is pretty cool. So congratulations to you on that. And I mean, it's entertaining. People like entertaining stuff, but it gets to the point as well. So there we go. Yeah, so there you go. So there we have Carrie Fisher. And again, what do you guys think about her relationship with George? Like her back and forth and her being blunt to him and saying, hey, and not being a yes person to him and saying, hey, these scripts and stuff. But then also how much George was a control freak when it came to his actual stories. And I don't think it's a bad thing because, if he wasn't that meticulous, and I'll just say meticulous. So if he wasn't that meticulous, then maybe Star Wars wouldn't be as great as it is in his time. I don't think it's great now. I don't think Disney understands Star Wars. So I'm not going to say as great as it is now. So that's what I'm coming to here. So George, no matter what, no matter if he had people who told him no, and then no matter if he had people who said, okay, George, that's cool. It still was I would say record-breaking company, really, under under his vision and stuff. And it was a success. And I commend him for that, and could he have done better on some stuff in the PT? Yes, he could, but I don't think it was bad. It didn't break continuity to the OT. And it used a lot of the EU as well. So I think that was the bridge to the OT. And for us to see what happened with Anakin, as he fell to the dark side and became Vader, and also bridged the stories to the EU. And I think that was a magnificently told story and way George did that. And so there you go. Yeah, do I agree with a lot of things when it comes to George? No, he always changed his mind on a lot of stuff and then contradicted himself all the damn time. And I think a lot of people take his words out of context as well when it comes to like what is canon and not. But when you look at the overall picture, everything that was developed in Star Wars during the time was canon to the movies. It was basically everything was tied together some way, somehow. And, and if it wasn't, then, it became non-canon, or it became S-canon, where some things was canon, but some of the events that happened in that story did not pertain to the actual canon. And so I think that the company did brilliant with everything, the keeping the lore, the history, all of that, to where it even gave George a world record of the most stories tied to a movie series. And that says a lot. And so I'm going to go ahead and get off my soapbox about George right here. And so good one, Carrie. Good on Carrie for not being a yes man to George. I know, I like that. And that's what I loved about her, is that she was like, basically, she was blunt, to the point, concise. She told you how it was. And I think that's another reason why he wanted her for the role of Princess Leia. So let's switch up gears now, you guys. It is now 10:08, and I didn't stop the poll because we got into the article. So let me go ahead and end the poll here, and then I'll tell you the results here. Let's see here. Got to give it a chance to post because it doesn't link up with StreamYards when this poll doesn't. So it's kind of frustrating. So where is come on now, show me the results. I hate when it pauses like that. Yeah, so with Leia Organa Solo, I did ask you guys, what your favorite story or arc about her was. And so if you guys haven't shared, go ahead and share. And the poll, favorite Jedi Academy characters, Kirana T won out of 35% of the votes. Sam Salusar, 29. And Gantoris, 23. And Streen, 11. So there were 17 votes. So those of you guys who voted, thank you so much. I understand some of you guys probably haven't read the stories or know much about those characters, and that's fine. But I'm going to be doing polls like this every coffee chat, and some of them are going to be challenging. So like if you haven't read the EU, you may not be able to contribute, and that's okay. Some of it will be mixed with the movies and the EU. Some of it will just be the movies, what have you. But I will be doing polls like that. Let's see here. George Lucas wanted his story told his way. Yep, because it was his vision. While Carrie gave him some guff, he still reined her in to commit to help him achieve his vision. Right. Yeah, they believed his vision and stuff like that. And he didn't have to stick with what they gave him as in tips, suggestions, what have you. We all know that. Dermot says, Dermot says, you can hardly make out two people making out, let alone knowing who they are. And let's see here. And to scroll down, Ranger says, even genius sometimes needs good critique from other perspectives. Right. That's how you grow. That's how you grow. You have to be very ignorant and prideful if you don't take people's critiques. Let's see here. Sam Salusar, I thought his name was Cam. Did I put Sam? I probably did. Is it Cam? I made a mistake right there. I made the poll last night before I went to bed. It's Cam. It's not Sam. Yeah, sorry about that. Dun, dun, dun. Alora made a mistake. Oh no, it's the end of the world. No, sorry. I did that late last night when I made the channel. And if you guys know me, I am good at typo mistakes. But yeah, Cam and Cam was at 29%. Yeah. So there you go. Let's see here. Glenn Close was that male pirate butt in the boo box. Holy crap. There you go. All right. So with Leia Organa, so we know in the movies that she did watch her planet be destroyed by the Death Star. So that was not really the first full I think that was the first full planet destruction of the Death Star. But if you read the lore, there was little bits of it being fired off for tests and stuff. But that was the first act on the Empire on destruction. And so it's very, it was sad. If you read in the EU about her accounts with how she reacted and how it hurt her so much and how it impacted her people, and even in like the courtship of Princess Leia and how she was like deciding to, not marry on love, but marry on convenience to help her people and help the Alliance. There's a lot of like mixed emotion about that for her, and very right so. And then you have Tycho Celchu, and he at the time he was a pilot, so he was serving for the Empire. So if you guys didn't know his story, he was serving for the Empire, and he was on the HoloNet talking with his family who were on Alderaan at the time of the destruction. So imagine that, not only being the princess of the planet, watching from the Death Star, your planet being destroyed, but being an Alderaanian who is basically working for the Empire, and you're talking with your family during the time of the destruction and finding out, like seeing them just go blank, seeing the HoloNet go blank in discussion and realizing what happened, and then changing your mind and going into the rebellion. Now that's a good story right there. Tycho's story is really, really good. That really changed course for him. And so how many of you guys know about Tycho's story? Have you guys read about him? So let me know. Say Y for yes and for no. And we're going to go over his story more than Leia's right now. But I'm tying their stories together because they both watched or witnessed in some way the destruction of their planet. And that, that's heartbreaking in a sense, and it does make you rethink where you stand when it comes to the Civil War, right? And Tycho's like, bull crap, I'm gone, I'm out of here, I'm gonna go ahead, these bastards killed my family, killed my planet, blah 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 blah. And I don't mean blah 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 as like being dismissive or anything, but still, let's see here. And it survives the raising of Kamas. Yeah, there's like the Kamas story behind that as well. And it's okay, I forgive you, OG. It only threw me off for a moment. Yeah, well, thank you. I didn't realize that either. And I'm like Sam, and I'm like Cam, and so I'm like, oh yeah, that's freaking right. You're an idiot right now, Laura. You didn't recognize that. Take refuge on Alderaan. Yeah, so the Kamases did take refuge, and Leio Organa. So if you don't know the story about Leio and stuff, when he took Leia as their own, he even told like Mon Mothma and all of them, I may look like I'm conforming to the Empire, like I'm bowing down, kneeling down to the Empire, I am still in it with you guys, I'm still on your side, but because I'm doing what I'm doing is for a reason. And his reason was for Leia. He couldn't put her in harm's way. He had to protect her. So he had to make it look like he was conforming and abiding to the Empire, right? He also made his planet neutral in a sense. Mind you, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have guards in the military and whatever to protect the royal house and what have you. But he also made them neutral and stuff like that. So when you read into that background of the story, and another way to get into that story is in Dark Lord Rise of Darth Vader, right? You get the sense of like where he stands, like he's walking that line, he's towing that line, he's protecting Leia. So he's pretending that he is conforming and a part of the Empire, and it's all about protection of her and even the people, basically, to keep her out of Vader's sight, basically the Emperor's sight, and she's hiding in plain sight too. So I thought that was very interesting. And even when Vader visits the planet looking for Fang Zar, He's like, what if he senses that Leia's his? What if he senses her? And there's certain events that happen to where he doesn't even get to see Leia as an infant in the story. But he's ready. Bail Organa is ready to either give his life or give up Fangzar to protect Leia, because he knows his mission. He knows that she is of the most importance to them, but also to the Rebel Alliance, the forming Rebel Alliance, and the destruction of the Empire. And so I thought that was well written there. And let me scroll up here. I know you guys are chatting away here, so let me scroll up. So Ranger said yes, and let's see here. In the radio drama, Leia's reaction was horrifying and angry. She called Tarkin and the Empire enemies of the universe and against life itself. Right. I remember that. Let's see here. Kathy says, yep. Orange hat. Yep, I remember. I remember his story more and more as you go over. The memories are coming back. There you go. That's what we're here for. Let's see here. Oh, feature OG merch, actual Alderaan rock, size shape, and planet origin may vary. Oh my God, that's hilarious. All right. I also find historically relevant that the Empire tried various means to cover up the destruction of Alderaan, from natural disaster to saying it was trying to build its own super weapon. And let's see here. I need to change the mouse color from white to a different color. Okay, Alderaan rocks. And then Bail stood up to Vader in Dark Lord. He knew that Vader was Anakin, but still stood up for him. It's better to give the people a place to protest other than Coruscant, right? And so he did. He stood up for the protesters and stuff like that. So let's see here. All right. And supposed to be now. Laugh out loud. I don't know what that is. Yeah. So going back to Tycho. So Tycho basically, yeah. So he's seen that. He's seen the destruction, and that makes a good story. Just imagine if he's seen his story unfold on the big screen. Mind you, I love reading about these characters, and to me, I think reading and even like the graphic novels and the novels itself are just as good as the movies. You get more imagination in your head on events. You already have an idea what Star Wars looks like from the movies and all that. So then you get to imagine, and then if you get to see them in a graphic novel on what they look like, then you get an idea what they look like, what the universe looks like. So when you're reading about them, you have an idea and you have this whole image playing out in your head. And I think that's really, really good for the imagination as well. It's very healthy. I know that people want to see just instant gratification by seeing everything on screen. I understand that. But reading the stories just gives you a whole new depth of imagination and stuff. And so when I compare, like I did on Twitter about a scene from The Last Jedi with Luke and Kylo fighting, and I compared it to Inferno, the Inferno novel from Legacy of the Force between Jason and Luke. Someone said, well, the movies are better, and the fights like in Revenge of the Sith and the Phantom Menace are a lot better because you get to see them and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, in reality, when you read about something, you also get far more in-depth description. And then, so that was my point. And then my point was also that if we were to see Jason and Luke's, and even Ben's, because Ben was involved because he was being tortured and was released and stuff. But if you've seen their fight on Anakin Solo in the secret torture chamber that Jason had with the Vong torture devices, I guess you can say. Wow, my voice is going out now. Then I think that would have interpreted really, really well, and maybe have been the best fight on film for Star Wars. That's my opinion. So if you guys read Inferno, I'm not trying to just stray from the topic, but it just goes with it. Like comparing books to movies and just imagining them in the imagination is also very valuable. But if you would seen that fight between Jason and Luke, I think that it probably would have superseded Anakin's and Obi-Wan's and Darth Maul with Qui-Gon and young Obi-Wan. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that that would probably have been an awesome fight to see? Because it would be so different. We'd see Vong torture by biotechnology, I guess you could say. And, how like the fight between two Skywalkers, basically. I think that would have been phenomenal to see. In my mind, it's already phenomenal. In my mind, it's already great. So what do you guys think? If you guys read Legacy of the Force, Inferno, and know the scenes I'm talking about, please share. By reading, you get into the characters' heads, right? In the movies, you really don't. You get to see it acted out and stuff and get to see it happen, and you're just an observer. By reading, you get to get into the characters' heads. You get to see thoughts, what have you. So there we go. And please hit the like button, y'all. Yes, please. While seeing movies solidifies certain moments, reading stories can allow your mind to use what you see in the movies and translate them into the books later on. Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. Also, where we saw XX, who may or may not be the source for 000. So let's see here. Stupid little thing. And thank you, Abunas, for the $5 super chat. Sending love to my amazing EU historian. I'm on lunch listening in. Oh, and Inferno is one of the best in the EU. Yes. So just imagine Luke versus Darth Caedus. And then, and we see him, Darth Caedus, Jason torturing his cousin on the embrace of pain. And what's going on? And Luke right there hiding himself into the Force to only where Ben can feel him. We do have Luke projecting himself in the beginning of the book, where he talks with Jason on the Anakin Solo for a bit. But guess what? He doesn't die. He doesn't die, but he doesn't use that either to go and try to fight him either. He goes in person. He also goes in person to confront him, where he pins Jason down. And then after he's done with him, he basically lets go of, and he pins him to where he doesn't have any physical gestures are strained in the Force. It's like so organic for Luke at the time that it just happens, and it like stuns Jason with Luke's ability in the Force, right? And then so when he's done with Jason, he just basically lets go of it. The chair falls and Jason goes tumbling out. That has to have humiliated Jason, and it does. And so I thought that was very epic. The Vong were put on screen would have take movie budget episodes of 20 plus episodes, which is impossible to do nowadays because they're unwilling to respect lore. I agree with that. Let's see here. Is it Caedus or Caedus? I think there's a Caedus. Darth Caedus. I've said it both ways. I know I'm gonna have to listen to the Audible again. Darth Caedus. Yeah. I mean, and that's just with Star Wars. Sometimes it's like for a long time, they didn't know how to say Coruscant for a while there too. So yeah, so going back to Tycho and stuff. Yeah, so just imagine, and with Leio Organa, just, so Tycho, I would say he's respectively about maybe a little older than Leia. Let's see here. No, I think he is. Yeah, he's a little older than Leia, and he's a little older than her. So during so he just imagine Leia's being brought back as a refugee basically from the Clone Wars, and that's what Bell, the Organa family, took her in as, is that she was a refugee, basically, orphaned refugee from the Clone Wars, right? And so Tycho Celchu, basically, probably a few years older than her, was just maybe 3, I would guess, 3 years older than her and stuff, and so he was raised knowing her as their princess, and stuff. So just imagine going and enlisting into the Empire, and but not knowing that your ruling family, the Organas, were secretly a part of like what is forming the Rebel Alliance, and not knowing that whatsoever. And and then Alderaan basically being a neutral family conforming to the Empire, for the sake of the planet, and of course Leia. And then seeing, witnessing basically, in a sense, your planet being destroyed while talking to your family on the HoloNet, and realizing that it was your own empire, the people that you fight for, that destroyed your home planet. Just imagine that, and that, like I said, it would have made a good story, like on screen. They try to do that with Finn a little bit. They did, Kyle Katarn has his own story of why he left and joined the Rebel Alliance as well. And that was because of the killing of his father and his people, his community and stuff. Him being betrayed as well. And there's a lot of accounts like that. And one of the things that Disney folklore failed to do was give the people who love those stories, the Disney trilogy, a very coherent, written story about Finn and why he left, why he defected. That was a huge missed opportunity. Like I said, I don't give a shit, but that's just sad that people can't get that anymore. And and it's something that they failed at. The books did it really well. You have Tycho and his story, and he also gets recaptured around 5 ABY and tortured by Isard. And he was basically one of them that they couldn't brainwash, I guess you can say. And so they let him go, but then that still worked to their advantage, because then the forming New Republic, still was very cautious of him and still suspected him and stuff. And then you have the whole story of like losing Corran Horn. And so Tycho goes on trial because they, are blaming him as well for that loss, not realizing that it was all a setup and stuff, So there's a lot of dynamics going on during that time when the Republic was forming in the early years, after Return of the Jedi, and the Imperial Remnant, and how they are still trying to, be in control and gain control back. So if you haven't read like the X-Wing series, I recommend it, even the comics, but the X-Wing series, I recommend them. In fact, I think this is going to be the first recommended series in my Twitter community that I'm going to post. So I'll post that later on today. So if you haven't had a chance to join the community, please go check it out. Again, I don't mind the compare and contrast between the two lores, especially characters that are being brought into the Disney faux lore. I don't mind that at all. Be smart about it though. I'm asking, like say, okay, this is so-and-so character. This is their character with the original canon, the true canon versus the Disney faux lore. This is what I agree with, what I don't agree with. Let's have a good conversation about that. Let's make it constructive and good, and discuss that. And if it turns into some of a debate, let's just go ahead and be smart about it and not do ad hominem kind of fallacy and being snide or condescending. Please, let's not do that either. So I will update the rules and stuff, and I will have mods in there here pretty soon. It's starting to slowly grow. So check it out. I do have a Twitter community, OG Starwars, it's called, just plain and simple. OG means original George. So originally George. And so OG also could be like OG original. So, there's a play on words there. So there we go. So let's see what you guys have to say. Let's see here. In SWTOR, Alderaan is in civil war between different nobles' houses. Yeah, that's way back. That's like 3,000 years plus, right? Organa is supported by the Republic. Thule by the Sith Empire, other houses who either support the big player or are neutral. Yeah. So I haven't got too much into the Old Republic lore during that time frame. Alderaan is about as close to Utopia. I was going to say Utopia as I can imagine. Kind of. I mean, utopia, I wouldn't, as much as it sounds nice, I would rather just have a place where there is different dynamics and stuff, you know. Soul Assassin, look at the bright side, OG. Disney's going down in flames now. Karma, in my opinion. Yeah, I know. I'm watching it all go down. I mean, who in the hell wants a company to dictate their personal lives? I mean, I don't even want government's policies and stuff that are put out is to protect the people, right? And that we have a choice and a say. I agree with that. But when there's too much government control, I don't agree with. And a corporate should have no control whatsoever on what's, on policy, legislation, all of that. They should have no control. All they are is a business, and their business for Disney is just a business of entertainment. I don't think they should have a say in what parents, want for their kids' education. And I don't think that kindergarten through third is a proper age to even share about sexual orientation, whether straight, gay, what have you. And this is not about being Islamophobe or whatever you want to call it. It's about common sense. Let the parents decide. That's all that is about it. It's not taking a voice away from anybody. It's giving parents their rightful place to decide for their young children. It's not the school's responsibility to step up in place of the parents in this type of situation. Nor is it Disney, a corporate monopoly. They're a monopoly as well, but it's not a company's decision either. No, however they want to hire their people, that's their own business. But this bill does not even, correlate with their business whatsoever. It doesn't even, it doesn't have anything to do with their business. And they at first were right to not be involved. How they want to hire and who they want to bring in is their own business as well. So that's my stance on that. All right, let's get back to the lore where it's fun. Chaos Man, only the ST trilogy could make blowing up a planet feel meaningless. The Hasnia system means nothing to the people of the galaxy. It means nothing to the people of the fans. Basically, it means nothing to the fans because there's no reason we should feel sorry for the system. We don't even know nothing about it. We have a long standing with Coruscant, and we already know that they stopped JJ from blowing up Coruscant. That was already been talked about and discussed. We haven't discussed it on my channel, but it has been talked about and discussed on social media when that came out. And so you introduce a new system no one knows nothing about. And mind you, we already had a reason to feel sorry for Leia, loss of her planet, because we already got involved in her story. She was already one of the protagonists. We had a reason. Hasnia Prime, we have no reason to feel sorry because there's no attachment of anybody to those planets. There's no reason like there was like in the beginning of Star Wars when we seen Alderaan blown up. So that's very different circumstances. So it's very different circumstances there. So there's no reason for fans to even have any emotional involvement in that. And I think that's another place where they failed. They failed with that. And you are welcome. And I'm if you haven't received an invite from me, you don't need an invite. You just got to go click on the link. However, I am finding that some people can't join communities. I don't know why. And I have not found, I have to look into that. So there are some people who click on the link and it says it's not existent. I don't know why. All I'm guessing is like so far, like one of the people who try to join, they are from Mexico. So I don't know if it has to deal with platforms pertaining to countries, I don't know, or security issues. I have no idea. So I apologize for those who want to join and can't. I apologize. I don't know the circumstances just yet. Try to make it a Star Wars word. And then hit the like button, become channel members, y'all. Yes, any support, all support is greatly appreciated. I can't wait to start the new painting and for Alex, I still haven't been able to reply back to your email and get that ball rolling. A lot has happened, and I haven't had a chance to take the picture in to get copied and make prints yet. So, but you will be receiving a copy of the painting here soon, I promise you. And then I'll get started on Boba Fett. I still haven't found a name yet for that though. So it's Boba Fett with, let me turn on my camera here. So it's Boba Fett with Slave One behind him. And mind you, the picture did fall off and got trampled on by accident. So, but this is just a study drawing. So Boba Fett, and I didn't finish it yet. And then he's going to have Slave One. I don't know what the title of the image is going to be. I haven't decided. And then, and I don't have a problem in joining. Everything worked. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So we're coming up to 10:37 my time. So let's get back to Tycho. So Tycho basically, you know, he was captured and then freed. And then so like Mon Mothma and I think it was Leia or someone, I forget now. I need to refresh my memory on that. Basically suspected him as being a spy. And he was put under close watch and almost like house arrest, I guess you can say. Wedge stood up for him and all that. And but later, after everything was said and done, and that they realized that Tycho was being truthful about his circumstances and everything like that. You know, everything panned out good. He also in 17 ABY, I believe, he married Winter. So Winter has been she's from Alderaan as well, and she grew up as Leia's like companion, and she was kind of an orphan in a sense. And so she grew up with Leia. Leia used her as so whenever Leia wanted to, you know, go off on her own and not do any royalty duties, Winter would step up and impersonate her and stuff. And later on in life, Winter helped raise the children, the Solo kids as well. And you know, of course, she married Tycho. And Tycho retired in 19 ABY, but he also fought before then. He fought in the Thrawn campaign during that time as well. And then when the Yuzong Vong came in, he basically returned to service to fight that as well. And then we see that he also helped fight in the second Galactic Civil War in 40 ABY. And he was also a supreme commander to Chai Nyathal. And I think Chai was basically Admiral Akbar's niece, I believe. And he was on the opposite side. So when we get to that second Galactic Civil War, everybody seems to be on opposite sides at one point. So that was a very crazy, dynamic scenario and story there. So if you guys haven't read Legacy of the Force, I highly recommend it. But for Twitter community, we are going to focus on the X-Wing series for that. Let me see here. Awesome drawing of Boba. Yeah, that's just the study. I'll be painting that. Look at my hair. My hair is just wild today. Beautiful art, OG. Thank you so much. Star Wars theology. Thank you for coming. Legacy, perhaps, since Boba is Jester's and Jango's legacy. Maybe. I will take that in consideration. I may use it if I can't find anything else. Boba's bounty, maybe. Let's see here. And Seagull was Akbar's niece, not Nyathal. Okay, I thought Nyathal was too. I thought she was related to him. I know Seagull was not Seagull, but Seagull. So I'll look that up and I'll share that on Twitter as well. But I thought she was as well related to him. The prequel showed us what happened when mega corporations have too much power and can influence people's decisions. I guess Disney didn't get the memo. Oh my God, there we go. See, and this is where I talk on and discuss on Twitter with people saying, "Oh, George used politics of his time for Twitter, or for not Twitter, for the prequel trilogy," and I'm like, he used examples of them, but he didn't use the politics. Because people later in life can take those politics that was developed for Star Wars and relate to them in their own way. And this by Chaos Man is a perfect example to that. Perfect example. And let's see, I'm also surprised you didn't bring up what Winter and Akbar were up to. I wasn't going to go there because that's kind of irrelevant, really. But if you people don't know, Winter and Akbar were a couple at one time, or they dated or what have you. So there you go. There you go. So Winter and Akbar had a relationship there. And yeah, so and then so for Tycho right here, so he has, he has some great story there, and he's really fleshed out well in the EU. And I recommend, researching, learning more about him, how much of an impact he had on the story. And with Wedge, him and Wedge were best friends in the story. And there's some pretty good scenes of Tycho and Wedge in Legacy of the Force as well. So, and I think Fury has a really good one. I think Fury is by Ellen Alston, I think, as well. All right. So let's see what's going on in the chat again. I already read that one. And hello, the Sentinel. How are you doing? We're discussing Tycho Celchu and just basically how he defected to the Empire after he basically witnessed the destruction of Alderaan. And so, we have these stories of like Leia and Tycho witnessing their destruction. And I think that's why I wanted to kind of talk about both of them. But, more or less Tycho, because he may be the least known to a lot of people. And he was put in the movies as well. Like one of the pilots, I think it was a pilot in the destruction of Death Star 2. What's his channel based on? My channel? Hi, Akshay. It is based upon George Lucas era of Star Wars pre-Disney lore. And I also do compare and contrast between both Disney faux lore and George Lucas era of Star Wars when it comes to characters, development, lore, what have you. Yeah, so thank you for joining in. Winter plus Akbar. Where's Stig with that pun? He's still, oh my God. I love messing with him about Wedge and was it Kui or whatever her name was? The chicken or the chicken lady. And hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. So there you go. So if you have read or know about Tycho, please share. Before we end here, I want to know what's your favorite memory lore story about him in the EU. We know that he is recognized as, help defeating the Death Star, the second Death Star, and Return of the Jedi. And so I think that's pretty cool. However, he's a main EU character. So please share with me, what is your favorite about him? And let me know, because we have the X-Wing series, the X-Wing comics. We have, even though he's not fully mentioned for like Tatooine Ghost, he was also helped with the Wraith Squadron as well. And then we have stories of him in a bit of New Jedi Order. He helped fight in the war with that. And then also Legacy of the Force. So there's a lot of accounts. So please share. Let me know. And Zaka, I don't know what that's about. Zaka. Let's see here. And let me pull up something I like about him. Let me see here. All right. My cat is playing with something. If you hear that little bell behind me, she found something to play with. So that's what's going on here. And let's see here. There's a lot of scenes. Like I like when one of my favorites, and they're so far, like each series that has Tycho in there, I do have favorites, but I like his talk with Sayala, or what's her name? Wedge's daughter. Sayal or whatever her name is, and they're going to Endor, and that's where Luke, and this is Legacy, and that's where Luke has them hiding, has the academy, has them kind of hiding from Jason right there. And and they're discussing about she's talking with him about like, I feel like I'm fighting for nothing, that there's no honor in this uniform I'm wearing, that I only got promoted because I shot at my hero Luke Skywalker, and what am I doing this for, and blah 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 blah. And she's really just confiding, and she calls him uncle, she calls Tycho uncle. And and then she's like, where's the honor in that? You can't even, no one even talks about Jason, and blah 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 blah, and what are we doing? And she's really confiding in him, and he was like, in my time, you have to remember, like in my time, we were in the same predicament. We were fighting, but no one spoke of Palpatine, and we were in the same. So he kind of like, gave her, like, confided in her, made her feel better, and reminded her that, that had happened before, and I can understand and relate to you, because with Palpatine, we were put in the same predicament and stuff. And so I thought that little talk between the two was very impactful, and I really liked that, and how she could really confide in Tycho. And then so he's like, then later on after the discussion, and the cat's in here with the little ball, he's like, he asks her if she wants to quit, and she's like, no, I don't. And he goes, well, I'm going to give you orders, and these are not going to be it's going to seem like you're being demoted, basically. And I need to take that away from her. Sorry, baby. I'm sorry, honey. I'm a bean mama right now. And he's like, it's going to seem like a demotion, but I don't want you to question it, and I just want you to go through with it. And you're not going to like it, but you're going to go where I tell you to go. And so basically he assigns her to Luke and them, basically. And so you have to read it. It's a very good like conversation between the two, and dynamic, and the story that happens after is very well done out as well. So let's see what you guys have to say. And must reread about Tycho, because it's been a long time since I read those books. And that's what this channel's here for, is to get you back into it. It's like if you decide to pick up a series or a trilogy, or even start reading a reading point, you're going to still have a lot to go. There's so many books. There's 200 plus books, and that's just books alone. And then you have the comics and all that. And so you still have material to rediscover. Star Wars is still alive under George Lucas, where the heart of Star Wars is. And then Dead Man Walking. Hey, Dad Man. I said Dad. Dad Man Walking. How are you doing? I'm so happy you are here. Good afternoon to you. Well, it's still morning my time. Oh, she's kind of mad at me now. I'm sorry, baby. Just working while listening. Yes, thank you so much. And yeah, so I recommend going back and reading, and this is the sole reason why I am gonna go ahead and display and put on display in on highlight, basically, in the Twitter community, the X-Wing series. And we don't just have to talk about just Tycho in there. We can talk about any other characters, especially when we get to the Wraith Squadron. Who are your favorite Wraiths? And if you want to answer here, that's okay. So if you have a favorite Wraith from, Wraith Squadron personnel, let me know. Let me know. And so we're going to go ahead and close out here so I can let my cat play. I just took the little ball away from her, and now she's upset with me. Yeah, so again, Tycho is such a phenomenal character. I love Leia. I love the story about Carrie Fisher. Thought I'd share. Some of you guys may have known this already. I have. I just thought it'd be fun to share, because this is what this channel is about, right? To go from there. I was expecting your cat to go on a smacking fit because you took its toy. That'd be funny if my screen was on and all of a sudden my cat came flying, whatever. No, she's over there. She attacked my carpet, and now she's playing with other, like she's attacking things. Like I could tell when my cat is having a fit versus playing, and that's crazy like that. And thank you for the wonderful greeting, OG. You're welcome. Yeah. So stay tuned. I'll post about the X-Wings in the Twitter community, and we could continue to talk about Tycho there. I encourage you guys to pick up the books and start reading. You don't have to read to start from X-Wings, but I figured I will highlight certain books, series, or what have you, or maybe a book from the series, and we can discuss it in there as well. And then later on, maybe in a month or two, I'll bring back literature review again. Yeah, and I still have not scheduled anybody. I have something in the making though, but I still haven't scheduled anybody for Talking EU, and I miss them. I miss putting people in to discuss how they got into Star Wars, particularly the EU as well. So thank you guys so much for coming in and hanging out with me. I have so much fun with you guys on coffee chats and discussing the lore and the actors and all of that as well. And thank you guys again for sitting through with me for a Star Wars chat here. And I appreciate everything that you do and keeping this channel going, the support, attending the live streams, all of that. And channel members, thank you guys so much for hanging out as well. And I will let you know when I begin the campaign for the painting for a chance to earn a copy of the coming painting, the Boba Fett one. So stay tuned for that. I will announce that for members only on my channel. So stay tuned. If you want to become a member, that helps the channel immensely, and I appreciate it. So you could become a channel member as well. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I think you guys are all amazing. Let's see what so unlike other channels, OG Star Wars actually read and knows the books, so please consider joining her community. Yes. And thank you, Abunas. Awesome show, OG. Thank you so much. And then everybody. And then I do have emojis and I have to add a couple more. The more channel members, the more personal emojis I can make for you guys. And so these emojis are Star Wars related, and I haven't decided yet who I want to bring up next for the next one. So thank you guys again so much. Like, subscribe, share the channel as well. If you're on Facebook, let people know about my channel. And you guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you.